The high cost of getting even. The high cost of getting even, from how to stop worrying and start living. Hatred destroys our ability to enjoy even our food. The Bible put it this way: better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox and hatred herewith. Wouldn't our enemies rub their hands with glee if they knew hate for them was exhausting us, making us tired and nervous, ruining our looks, giving us heart trouble, and probably shortening our lives? Even if we can't love our enemies, let's at least love ourselves. Let's love ourselves so much that we won't permit our enemies to control our happiness, our health, and looks. As Shakespeare put it, heat not a furnace for your foe so hot that it singes yourself. When Jesus said that we should forgive our enemies 70 times 7, he was also preaching sound business. For example, I have before me, as I write, a letter I received from George Rona, Sweden. For years, George Rona was an attorney in Sweden. He had no money, needed work badly. For years, George Rona was an attorney in Vienna, but during the Second World War, he fled to Sweden. He had no money, needed work badly. Since he could speak and write several languages, he hoped to get a position as correspondent for some firm engaged in importing or exporting. Most of the firms replied that they had no need of services because of the war, but they would keep his name in file and so on. One man, however, wrote George Rona a letter saying, "What you imagined about my business is not true. You are both wrong and foolish. I do not need any correspondent. Even if I did need one, I wouldn't hire you because you can't even write good Swedish." Your letter is full of mistakes. When John Rona read that letter, he was so mad. He was as mad as Donald Duck. What did this Swede mean by telling him he couldn't write the language? Why, the letter that this Swede himself had written was full of mistakes. So George Rona wrote a letter calculated to burn this man up. Then he paused. He said to himself, "Wait a minute now. How do I know this man isn't right? I had studied Swedish, but it's not my native language, so maybe I do make mistake I don't know anything about. If I do, then certainly I have to study harder if I ever hope to get a job. This man has possibly done me a favor even though he didn't mean to. The mere fact he expressed himself in these disagreeable terms doesn't alter my debt to him. What he has done, therefore, I am going to write him and thank him for what he has done." So George Rona tore off this scorching letter he had already written and wrote another that said, It was kind of you to go to trouble of writing to me, especially when you do not need a correspondent. I am sorry. I was mistaken about your firm. The reason that I wrote you was that I made enquiry and your name was given me as a leader in your field. I didn't know why I had made grammatical errors in my letter. I'm sorry. I am ashamed of myself. I will now apply myself more diligently to study of the Swedish language and try to correct my mistakes. I want to thank you for helping me get started on the road to self-improvement. Within a few days, George Rona got a letter from this man asking Rona to come to see him. Rona went and got a job. Rona discovered for himself that a soft answer turns away wrath. We, not be, we may not be saintly enough to love our enemies, but for the sake of our own health and happiness, let's at least forgive them and forget them. That is the smart thing to do. To be wronged or robbed, said Confucius, is nothing unless you continue to remember it. I once asked General Eisenhower's son, John, if his father ever nourished resentment. No, he replied, Dad never wastes a minute thinking about people he doesn't like. There is an old saying that a man is fool who can't be angry, but a man is wise who won't be angry. Thank you.